It's Monday, so I'm going to do a mock draft for you today. I'm big into the NFL draft. I love everything NFL draft, really. And so every Monday from now until the draft, I'm going to share a mock draft with you and just kind of talk about teams, talk about fits for teams and players I like. I'm really big into the top 10, 15, kind of trying to get team fit and player fit. And then after that, it's kind of just players I like and, teams that I could see fit. The back half of the first round is always the back half of the first round into the beginning and middle of the second round. Those players are pretty much interchangeable. But yeah, so with that all being said, I do want to get into this pretty much right away. So I'm just gonna go through talk about each pick. I do have off to the side. I've already run through exactly what player I'm gonna pick to each team. So I'm gonna start here at number one. The Giants have the number one pick. I do not think they will hold this pick. There's no need if you're a team at the top of the draft holding the number one overall pick and you do not need a quarterback, you should trade this pick. Um, the question just becomes to who? Who's going to move up to get him? I could see the Raiders jumping up one spot. I believe there are two quarterbacks that are going to go number one and number two in Fernando Mendoza from Indiana and Dante Moore out of Oregon. If the Raiders end up falling in love with one of these guys over the other, I could definitely see them moving up one spot to go take the guy they want, especially if it is Fernando Mendoza, because I do believe he is probably going to be the first overall pick. Titans not going to move up. Browns could move up. They don't seem to believe in Shador Sanders, even though I think he's looked pretty good. I think it's a work in progress still, but they could definitely move up to go get him. The Jets the same way. The Jets, just the Justin Fields experiment has not worked out for them. I could definitely see them moving up. Cardinals kind of the same. The problem with them is all the money that they still owe Kyler Murray. Um, None of the other teams until down here at pick 10. This is a team in the Rams that look like probably the best team in football, and they have a top 10 pick thanks to last year in the draft. The Atlanta Falcons traded their first round pick this year for James Pierce, for the Rams pick, which they ended up taking James Pierce Jr. James Pierce has been great. Not sure if he's worth trading. What could end up even jumping up further from 10 and sneaking up around 7, 8, maybe even possibly getting into the top 5. So there's a lot of intriguing teams that I think could move up for the number one pick. I am going to have the Rams moving up, so I'm not all that worried about who or what will be involved in this trade. But I do have the Rams at pick 10 moving up. It will take at least 10 and 31. It could take something, could be like a late round pick swap somewhere, something like that. Or if this pick ends up moving up, I believe it is still going to take the whatever this pick is and 31 to move up. But I am going to go ahead and force this trade through. So now the Rams are on the clock at number one, and they are taking Fernando Mendoza, the Heisman Trophy winner from Indiana. I think this is the perfect fit for them. He is a quote unquote game manager, which shouldn't have the negative connotation that it does. He is perfect for this offense. The RPO style that they run at Indiana under Kurt Signetti fits perfectly in this Sean McVay offense. And yes, Matthew Stafford is going to be either the winner or runner up probably for the MVP. He's not getting any younger. How much time does he have left is the question. So Fernando Mendoza can come in, learn the Sean McVay system, and be ready to go when Stafford decides to hang it up. Raiders at number two. I mentioned him earlier. I think this is Dante Moore. They need a quarterback very badly. The Geno Smith experiment has not worked. I think Pete Carroll is probably going to be gone. Chip Kelly was already fired. They need a new identity, and Dante Moore brings that. He's been very good, maybe less good as of late at Oregon, but very, very good, a very high ceiling. I think Dante Moore has a much higher ceiling than Fernando Mendoza. The question is, where's the floor, and what are you going to get? He will most likely be expected to start day one, unlike Mendoza, if this happens with the Rams. So the question will just be, how does he make that transition? At number three, it kind of came down to two guys between Ruben Bain out of Miami. Early in the year, this looked like he could be the first overall pick. He was unbelievable. Has been inconsistent, or more inconsistent as of late, as you can see. You can see the beginning here. I mean, it was just probably the best player in all of college football. It's between him and Arvell Reese, and it just will come down to preference. Arvell Reese, his grades don't look nearly as good, but I believe he is the best non-quarterback in this entire draft, and for that reason, I do have the Titans taking Arvell Reese. He can play off ball or he can play on ball. I believe he profiles more as an edge rusher in the NFL. Yeah, he is very Micah Parsons like, where at Penn State, Micah Parsons could do both. The same with Abdul Carter. Abdul Carter was an off ball linebacker his first 2 years at Penn State, and then transitioned into more of a edge rusher there, and ended up being the third overall pick this past year because of it. I could see Arvell Reese doing the same thing and being coming off the edge there in Tennessee. Number 4 for Cleveland, I have them taking Ruben Bain. I kind of said it was between either of them for pick 3 to Tennessee. I think whoever doesn't get drafted ends up going here at number 4. Miles Garrett's not getting any younger. He is great. They still he's probably going to break the sack record this year, which he's an incredible talent. They have needs other places too. I Another name to look out for here would be Carnell Tate, out of Ohio State. Great receiver. I believe he's the first receiver that goes off the board here. Just because Jordan Tyson, he is so good, but those injuries are so scary. He has been hurt all the time, and it looks like something that could be lingering. So, I curious to see how GMs think of that and if he's going to fall at all. They do need receiver very badly. I wouldn't be surprised if Carnell Tate goes here. I just think Ruben Bain and Arvell Reese are both. Maybe if Bain goes at 3, they go Tate here instead of Reese. I just think Arvell Reese is the best non-quarterback in the draft. So I have them taking Ruben Bain to come off the other edge. Opposite of Miles Garrett. At 5, the Jets. This is where I do believe I have Carnell Tate going here. They need receivers so badly. It's Garrett Wilson and nobody else. There's so many holes on this team, and I think they want one of the two quarterbacks, but you could look quarterback here. Ty Simpson's not going that high. None of these guys are going that high. Simpson might even go back to school at this point. Sellers is going back to school. You're not taking Sorsby, Nussmeier. You're not taking any of these guys that high. Diogo Pavia is not going with the 5th pick in the draft. I don't have him as a first rounder. You can't reach that high. If they're gonna take a quarterback, they're gonna have to trade up. I don't have them trading up for this. So Carnell Tate at 5 solves another need for them at receiver. At 6, Arizona. Oh, what a mess they've been this season. They're in a tough division. They need to protect whoever their quarterback is going to be because, like the Jets, there is no quarterback here to take. So I will take Spencer Fano, who I believe is by and far the best tackle in this class. He could play guard, but he's played only tackle at Utah. I think he probably can stick at tackle. He is 6'6", 308. He's big enough to stay at tackle. I think he probably does. Or if you need to kick him inside, they need guard as well. Protect whatever quarterback they end up getting. I've seen Jeremiah Love predicted here a couple times. I don't think it's the biggest need. I know PFF has it as running back, but James Conner is getting old, but Trey Benson is there, and they have bigger needs. I think Spencer Fano fits that need better, and they can pair him up with Paris Johnson Jr. Saints at 7. A lot of ways they could go here. Receiver is definitely an option with Jordan Tyson. The question with him is just going to be those injuries and how much does that affect. You look at a guy like Will Johnson last year, who talent-wise is probably a top 10 pick in the draft, but they were just a little worried. All the GMs were worried about what they saw in his knee. He ends up falling into the second round and becoming a great pick for the Cardinals. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah a couple of years ago fell out of the first round to the Browns. He may never play football again, even though it looked like a slam dunk draft pick from them. Those issues ended up coming back up in his career, and he may never play again. So as much as Jordan Tyson is intriguing here, I am gonna go away from receiver here. There are some other receivers in this class. Mekhi Lemon is very good. I don't know if I have him going this high. He's been very very good, but kind of inconsistent here. You can see and just a big time deep threat. I'm not sure that that fits what they're looking for. They traded away Rashid Shaheed, so they do need that kind of speedster. But I'm not gonna go receiver here. I am gonna go Kendrick Falk out of Auburn. Just a great edge rusher. He is a staple in that Auburn defense, and they need help up front so badly. So that is the fit I have there. At 8, Washington gets a big win over the Giants, and they fall down this board a little bit to 8. They need edge rusher as well. I think they're hoping Kendrick Falk does not get taken there, but he does, and for that reason, I'm going to go David Bailey out of Texas Tech. He has been so good. That defense is so good. Jacob Rodriguez obviously gets all the attention there, but David Bailey has been so good rushing the passer at Texas Tech. That's the fit I have there. Bengals at 9. This season has been a disaster for Cincinnati, and they need defensive help so bad. And luckily, there is a very good, I would say, generational safety sitting on the board, just 2 hours up the road with Caleb Downs. That's the easiest pick in the draft for me. I think they have to have him circled on their draft boards. That's who I would go with, and that's who I think they do go with at 9. At 10, the Giants move down from 1 to 10. Um, Another reason that this trade maybe doesn't happen is because I'm not sure the Giants want to move all the way down to 10. They might want to stay in this top 5 and end up trading with one of these guys because they might want to, drop down and take either Arvell Reese or Ruben Bain and trade with the Browns, or maybe they are looking for Carnell Tate to pair with Neighbors. Anything here. They do need a receiver, though, and I think they need a receiver bad enough where they are okay with the risk behind Jordan Tyson. I do have them taking him. He is very good. He's one of the best receivers in the country. The past 2 years, he was great last year. He's been great this year. He is 6'2", 200 pounds, big physical receiver, plays very well. Again, it's not the ability that's the question with him; it's the availability. Chiefs at 11. Wow, they had a a knife in their back yesterday. Oh my God. Missed the playoffs for the first time in forever, and Patrick Mahomes tears his ACL, so next year even looks rough. They have needed a running back for so long. They need a lot. Um, I have them going Jeremiah Love in my mock over here. The more I sit and look at it, the more maybe I don't want them going Jeremiah Love, because they need help in so many areas. And see, now I'm second guessing. I am going to still have them take Jeremiah Love. They tried to trade for Brees Hall at the deadline. It didn't work. He is so good. Finished third in Heisman voting just a couple days ago. He is so good, and he would be a great fit there. They have other needs, so I could see them going a different route. But Jeremiah Love would be a great pick there. I think he also could very well go at 12 here to the Vikings. They need him very bad, but with him off the board, they also need corner, and I will take Mansour Delane out of LSU. Man, he has had an incredible season. He Not much to say here. He is flown up this draft board for me. I thought Jamon McCoy was going to be the first corner off the board in this draft, and he still very well could be, but obviously hasn't played this year and won't play this year. You're gonna have to go off his 2024 tape and coming off a torn ACL, and there's gonna be question marks around Jamon McCoy, much like there is with a guy like Jordan Tyson. And injuries always come out, and the GMs are going to know things that the public doesn't know about injuries. So it just depends with Jamon McCoy on how much teams care. And as I talk about Jamon McCoy, he is going off the board here to Miami. They need corner so bad. They have probably the worst cornerback room in the entire league. They have traded everyone. They traded Ramsey for Minka. They had to cut corners. They've had injuries at corner. their cornerback situation is so bad. Jerron McCoy, if he is the Jerron McCoy that we saw in 2024, this is a top 5 player in this draft. He's the best corner in the draft. The question is, no one has seen him since 2024, and coming off a torn ACL, he could fall even further than this. But I do have him here at 13. At 14, uh, need help on defense everywhere. How about getting a guy that is going to be the staple in the middle of that defense with Sonny Styles? He has been so good for Ohio State. Just incredible. He will fit in perfectly with this defense. This would be a dream pick here. I mean, big, physical, gets his head in the run game, can cover if he needs to. Just great at rushing the passer if you need him to. Just a all around great player. 6'5", 243, big linebacker. Would be great in this defense for the Cowboys. Ravens at 15. They've got lots more holes than I thought they did at the beginning of the year. They were my preseason pick to win the Super Bowl. They may not even make the playoffs at this point. Big win yesterday, but I do have them going up front and addressing that D line that needs lots of help with Peter Woods. Peter Woods is such an interesting prospect because it's like freshman year. It's like, oh my God, this is going to be maybe the best player in the class. Last year is like, okay, yeah, he's still great, and this year it's like, whoa, what has happened? He's still been good. That Clemson team is not very good, so maybe it's hard for him to get motivated to play. Um, I still really like him a lot, and I do have him here to the Ravens. Panthers at 16 with a loss yesterday to the Saints. Their playoff hopes are looking harder to get in. They're going to have to beat the Bucks now to win that division. And at 16 here, I have another Clemson man off the board. They need edge rusher, and I like TJ Parker to go here. Another guy that has fallen a little bit. Hasn't been as good this year as he was last year, but still a very good player and played very well against South Carolina, as you can see. 6'3", 260. So maybe a little undersized. Obviously his weight is fine, but at 6'3", I think he plays well in this, and that I think his size will be fine. And they need edge rushers so badly. There's a bunch you could go with here, but I do have T.J. Parker going here and sticking. With the Clemson theme, the Lions here at 17, Avion Terrell. They need corner so bad, so I have 3 straight Clemson players going off the board here. Um, Next best corner. If Jamal McCoy falls all the way here, this would be a dream pick for them, but they need corner very badly. And Avion Terrell has been, I believe, of the remaining corners that are still here, I think he's the best one that's still here. There's corners. Colton Hood's another guy that maybe hasn't been that you could see flying up these boards. I'm not sure that I have him as a first round pick. I think I needed to see a little more from him. I need to see a little more from him in at the combine. 6'1", 195, so he's got good size. I'm not sure about him. Would have loved to see him and Tremont McCoy be on the same defense this year, but didn't get to see that. But yeah, he would be the other one that I would maybe slot here. To say could go here too, about same size. They seem to like those types of corners there. Jets at 18. This is the Sauce Gardner trade with Indy. This is that pick. Already had them going Carnell Tate, so I won't have them going Mekhi Lemon here. I'm not going to double up on receivers. At 18 here, they do need D-line. Caleb Banks has been very good. Yeah, he's 6'6", 330. Just they with Quentin Williams gone, they need a guy like this. I will have them taking Caleb Banks out of Florida. Yeah, just fills a hole, and they need a receiver. I gave them receiver earlier in the draft, so Caleb Banks to plug the middle of their D line is the pick there. At 19, the Bucks. They need tight end, and there is a great tight end on the board, Kenyon Sadiq. His fit is a little harder for me to find. I mean, he pretty much will fit anywhere, and tight ends are going higher and higher in the draft. I could see him going higher than this, especially if he has a great combine and pro day. Kenyon Sadiq is my pick here to the Bucks. Just 6'3", 245, so maybe a little undersized, but just, incredible. He is a great red zone threat, great down the field, great after the catch. He's He's a great tight end, and I think by far the best tight end in the class. Max Clare has been good. Eli Stowers, I think, is also very good. Joe Royer, I think, is very very good as well. Was really really good last year. Came back to Cincinnati, had less of an impact this year, but was still very very good. Um, and so yeah, Kenyon Sadiq is my pick there. At 20, the Steelers, I think believe they get to steal the draft here with Makai Lemon. Uh, he'll be on the other side of DK Metcalf there. Just pure speed threat and a deep threat there. Perfect. Uh, this would be a perfect pick for them. And this is maybe he fell a little bit in this draft. I believe the Steelers would be very, very happy with this pick, and I think it's a good fit. That's where I have him going. At 21, the Eagles, they could use some help up front. They could use maybe some receiver. I think if Makai Lemon is still there, they like Makai Lemon. You could see a guy like Casey Concepcion going here. Chris Brazel, I like. Chris Bell is another guy that I could see. He's been very, very good this year. Um, I'm not sure I have him in the first round, maybe a high second round pick on him. Jeremy Bernard's been very good for Alabama. He's just very consistent. I don't know if he's got the upside to go that high. Um, Down the board, maybe a little bit. Obviously, I'm a big fan of Zachariah Branch. He's looked very, very good at Georgia this year. I just don't know that he has done enough. He's going to run very fast at the combine. You're going to see his name all over because he is going to be very, very fast at the combine. But I don't think there is a receiver that they would take here. So I'm just going to give them BPA and Cassius Howell, edge rusher out of Texas A&M. Just consistent. He's been very good every year that he's been there. He is 6'2", 248, so he's a little undersized. But he it seems like the type of team that he would go to. The Eagles will draft that kind of undersized DN. They did it with Nolan Smith a couple of years ago, and that has worked out for them. So I like Cassius Howell here to be on that D line. Um, that's my pick to there. Texans at 22. They need O line help very badly. Guard or tackle. Um, really just guard. Guard is a big need for them. And I know Francis Moaga is seen here as a tackle. I think he plays guard at the next level. He could stick at tackle, and if he does, he can just play right tackle for the Texans. But I have him getting drafted here and kicking into right guard. I believe he's the best guard in the class, and second best tackle in the class behind Fano. Um, yeah, this I think this is a good fit for him, and so I have him going here to the Texans. Dallas at 23. This is the trade that they made with the Packers within Michael Parsons. So this is the Packers pick that they have here. Um, a lot of needs on this defense. I gave them Sonny Styles earlier in this draft, so I'm not going to give them another linebacker, although I do really like CJ Allen. That's a guy that I think would be a great fit here, but I already have them taking linebacker, so I won't. Don't need. Um, I definitely could see them taking corner, and I believe that's where I have them going here. I do. I'm going Keith Abney, the corner out. Where is he? Where is Keith Abney? There he is. Keith Abney out of Arizona State. Big physical corner. I mean, this guy He is a physical corner, which they need physicality on this defense. So I will go Keith Abney. Corner's just been a mess. Don't know if Trayvon Diggs is still going to be on the roster next year. Yeah, they could use corner very badly, and Keith Abney I think is a good fit there. Bills at 24. Just mentioned him. They could go linebacker, and I'm going C.J. Allen here. Yeah, he's been really good. This Georgia defense is playing very very well. 6'1", 235. He's stereotypical linebacker size. Or you're not going to get anything. He can move very very well. His coverage is pretty good. Very very good against the run, which they could use help stopping there. So I will go. He can rush the passer too. But yeah, like I said, he can drop into coverage if you need him to. Kind of a jack of all trades on this Georgia defense, and he's looked really really good recently. He had some big games in here, obviously the Auburn game. I thought he played a lot better against Alabama than this grade says. He seemed to be all over. So yeah, C.J. Allen at 24 to the Bills there. Um, let's see, at 25 to Chicago, I have them going and fixing that D line because they need it very bad. And Caden McDonald out of Ohio State is exactly what they need to stop the run. I mean, just one of the best run defenders in the entire country. They need it badly. And so that's my fit that I have going there. Chargers at 26. They need interior O line. And I could definitely, I think they're going guard. The first pure guard I have taken here off the board. Um, they could really look at a guy like Caden Proctor, and this guy fits their mold. That they tried to go with Mekhi Becton, it just hasn't worked as well as they hoped it would. Um, he's huge, 6'7", 366. Don't know if he hasn't been as good as people thought he would be. I thought this would be a top 10 pick out of Alabama, but he has not been as good this year. So I will have them going straight guard. I could see them pulling the Emmanuel Pregnon lever here. He's been very good. But I will have them going with Vega Iane here at 26 out of Penn State. I think he's the best pure guard in the class. And I think he's played kind of all over, but mostly at left guard. So I believe this is a good fit for the Chargers. At 27, I just talked about him, and I am going to end up going with Caden Proctor here. You could kick him into guard if you want to, and if you think that's a better fit, you definitely could. But also, they've needed a right tackle for a couple of years now, and Trent Williams is not getting any younger. So if you wanted to keep him at tackle and develop him, you 100% could. Caden Proctor is my pick at 27. At 28, this is the Jags pick that was traded last year to move up to get Travis Hunter. So the Browns now have this pick. Earlier, I had them going Ruben Bain. Um, they need help up front as well. I think Caden Proctor is the guy that I think they hope they would get here. High upside. They've drafted Bama. They drafted Jedrick Wills in the past. Kind of fits that same mold. It has to be tackle here, and it's kind of who I like best here. I think Blake Miller is the guy that I like the best for them. It seems to be a good fit there. So I will take Blake Miller to the Browns. At 29, the Patriots. It doesn't show as a need here that they do need safety bad. There's just not a safety here that I think is good enough to take. Um, like Bray Hubbard is very good. I could definitely see him flying up this board. I just don't know that a first round pick is what I would put on him. So I'm gonna go a little off script here. I think they need a receiver pretty badly. Even though it doesn't say it's one of their needs, and there's a lot of good ones. Casey Concepcion is one that I definitely could see being the pick here. Um, I mean, just blazing fast. Yeah, I can. Yeah, this is definitely a guy that I can see sneaking into the first round. Chris Bell, I already mentioned, has been very good, but I'm gonna go Chris Brazzell out of Tennessee. He has been so good for this Tennessee offense this year, and a main reason why they were as good as they were. Obviously, they didn't have that great of a year to Tennessee standards, but without him, this team really does not look good. Um, yeah, he a good deep threat, good with the ball in his hands, tough to bring down after. He's a big guy at 6'5", 200 pounds. Can go up and get a ball better than just as good as about anyone in the country. And the 9 touchdowns this year show for it, over 1,000 yards. Wasn't a Blitnikoff finalist, which I found surprising. I definitely thought he would be, but I think it's a good fit there at 29 to New England. At 30, I mentioned this guy earlier, and they need interior O line pretty badly. So this is going to be the Emmanuel Pregnon pick. I think the Seahawks go a lot of ways. I think corners also in play with Brandon Sisse out of uh, South Carolina. Excuse me. I think he could be the pick here, but That defense is so good that I think they're going to keep developing those guys, and they've been pretty deep at corner this year. So I will take Emmanuel Bregnon. You could never have enough O linemen and continue to protect Sam Darnold. At 31, the Giants. This is another pick from the Rams. This is the Rams pick. Again, I just talked about them. They need corner very badly. And there's some corners I like here. I really like Colton Hood. I think this could definitely be a pick for them. Um, it's between him and Brandon Sese out of uh, man. See in my mock draft over here, I do have them going Brandon Sese. I think I like Colton Hood better. Um, man, this is a tough pick. I'm gonna flip my pick here. I'm gonna go Colton Hood. I like Colton Hood a lot. This is now I believe the third Tennessee guy I have going in the first round here with Brazel as well. I'm a big Colton Hood fan. I think he's stepped up big time this year. He hasn't um completely filled the shoes that Jamal McCoy had last year, but he has been very, very good for them. Um, and so I am going to go Colton Hood here. And rounding it out here at 32 with the Broncos, tight end, center, and linebacker, there's just not a good enough any of those here. I kind of mentioned some of these guys. Eli Stowers is a guy you could maybe see going here. Um, has been pretty good. You could see him sneaking in. Josh Cuevas, I don't see going this high. Max Clare, coming into this year, I could have seen going first round. Just hasn't had as much of an impact as I thought he would. Um, they could use some receiver help. They've got Mims and Sutton out there, but they could use another big, deep threat, and that's I think what I'm going to do here. Um, I'm going to go ahead and give them KC Concepcion out of Texas A&M. That is going to be the final pick here in the first round for me. I just believe that he fits that team, and I think that's a need for them. So, yeah, let me know what you think. That's gonna be my first mock draft that I post here. Um, if you have any disagreements or have other fits that you think were better, or any guys that you would like to see here in the first round that I did not include, let me know. But for now, that is all I have for you, and I will see you next Monday for another mock draft. Thank you for watching this episode of Let's Talk Football. If you enjoyed what you heard today, make sure to like and subscribe. Also, comment down below with what you would like to see me talk about next. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more just like it, click on the video right now to see my last episode, and let's talk more football.